Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This time we're finally going over the Hatchhyack archetype, a little bit over a week out from the set 8 release, so this is the final archetype we have to talk about. We will get into it, guys, but of course, as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. Want to get involved in Dragon Ball Super community, make sure to check out the Discord in the description below. And finally, guys, 3 ways you can help support the channel. Number 1, the Patreon in the description below, lots of competitive content. Number 2, if you'd like to pre-order any set 8 stuff, make sure you use my link to TCG Player or Bearded Collectibles in the description below. And finally, guys, the join buttons down there for the YouTube channel memberships. All that stuff helps out a lot. So Dr. Lai Chi and Hatchhyack, who thought it was a good idea to put Flying Nimbus on a leader? Man, this archetype's crazy. A lot of people are talking about it. It seems like it's going to be very, very polarizing in the format, and I do think it will. I think the deck suffers a bit from like hand size issues, like not a lot of cards replace themselves. The field spell is crazy because it actually just searches any Ghost Warrior in your deck, but we'll get there when we talk about it, I guess. So let's go over the leader first. Permanent, you can only play black battle cards, and this card can't attack, so pretty much restricts you to a very specific archetype, although it does leave a lot of room. We obviously have a very evolved black card pool nowadays, like between overwhelms and just static black cards, so a lot of different stuff to pick from. You don't really have to play this deck in the way it's built for you in the set. I've seen some overwhelm builds, and that's a pretty cool way to go about the deck. So the auto on the card is, when a battle card attacks, the player who attacked can't attack with tokens or battle cards with energy costs of 7 or less other than the card that they attacked with for the duration of the turn. So pretty much floodgates you out of attacking. The only way to get out of that is by attacking with really big dudes. So like in the mirror match, you have your Hatchery AK, which we'll talk about in a second. But I talked about this in the video the other day, guys. Food the Dark Banisher is your generic 8-drop out to this deck. I mean, if your deck can support Overwhelm by turn 4, which a lot of decks realistically can, Food the Dark Banisher is a generic 8-drop that bypasses this auto, something you're definitely going to keep in mind. But otherwise, this deck floodgates really, really hard. Activate main once per turn, place the top card of your deck under this card, place the top card of your deck in your drop area, and then draw 1 card. Pretty nuts how this sees 3 cards deep into the deck on an activate main. Again, does not require an attack. This card can't actually attack until you awaken, so pretty good control element there. Awaken, if you have only black cards in your energy, choose 3 cards under this card and place them in the owner's drop area. So basically by turn 3 you can awaken. You may draw 1 card and flip this card over. No energy untap, which has always been a bit lackluster, but let's see what the rest of the leader does. Permanent, you can only play black battle cards, and now this card can attack. When a battle card attacks, the player who attacked can't attack with tokens or battle cards with energy costs of 7 or less other than the card they attacked with for the duration of the turn. Auto, when this card attacks, this card gets 5,000 power for duration of the turn, and you draw 1 card. So the fact that this is a 20k swinger on the back, that has always been a very powerful effect in this game. I mean, just pressuring for, leader damage is insane because you get that free 5k combo essentially, but also clearing battle cards that are in rest mode, like 20k battle cards in rest mode. This leader does a great job of that. So as far as control leaders go, this is one of the strongest ones I think we've ever seen. Like, think about like Frieza Prison, think about Janemba. I think this is on a whole new scale, pretty much at the top end of those leaders I just mentioned. Hatchhyack, fueled by hatred. This is essentially the boss monster of the deck. Dual attack, permanent. If your leader card is a black machine mutant, increase the energy cost of this card by 3. So that essentially allows this card to not count towards its own leader's floodgate effect. Really important to know that. Auto, place this card in your owner's drop area. When your opponent's battle card attacks, negate that attack. So this seems to be an this seems to be a mandatory ability. So when an opponent's battle card attacks, this is automatically going to proc and negate the attack. That's also going to eat up your opponent's 1 attack in that turn, unless it is, again, with a 8-drop or higher battle card. Activate main once per turn. Choose 3 black battle cards with energy costs between 3 and 7 in your drop area and place them at the bottom of your deck in any order. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and send it to the owner's warp. So for as long as this thing remains on the field, which realistically should only be 1 turn if your opponent attacks with a battle card, if that is a mandatory auto like I think it is, this is going to basically remove 1 dude for you, maybe 2 if your opponent gets unlucky and can't summon any battle cards, but that's pretty unlikely. Another thing I'm interested to know as well is if you attack with a battle card, right, or if your opponent attacks with a battle card and you negate it, does this auto go into pending? I would assume it does because your opponent still attacks with a battle card, but that's something good to know there. So just make sure you're not wasting your negates if that is the case. This SPR just looks absolutely amazing. Hatchhyack, overwhelming power. Activate main if your leader card is a black machine mutant and you choose 3 black battle cards with an energy cost between 3 and 7 in your drop area and place them at the bottom of your deck in any order. Play this card from your hand. So basically, I'm going to just not reread that the entire time. I'm pretty sure all the Ghost Warriors do the same exact thing, so I'm just going to say the rest of the effect after that. Activate main, pay 4. If your leader card is a black machine mutant card, choose 1 Fueled by Hatred Hatchhyack in your drop area and play it on top of this card. So you're hoping to mill it from that point on. And I believe the 5-drop is a 10k combo. Yes, it's a 10k combo, so you can't really combo him efficiently to the drop area. So you are hoping to mill him. So that means he's probably a 4 of, so you can get the maximum percentage of milling him, and he's just probably an easy energy outside of that because you're never going to want to hard cast him for 8. 1-drop Dr. Lai Chi, Inception of the Grudge. So he's a blocker, which is just, good. If your opponent does attack with the 1 battle card per turn that they're allowed to, this card just eats up one of those attacks. And when this card's KO'd, you get to play a Ghost Warrior for free. This seems like very high value in the deck. I think this would be a 4 of in the very typical set 8 build of the deck. Moving on to the next page, let's see what we got. We've got Dr. Lai Chi, the Departed Spirit. 3-drop, blocker, 10k. Auto, when you play this card, place 2 cards from top of your deck in your drop area. That's pretty neat because, it's a generic 3-drop that mills 2 and it's a black blocker. So that does have usage outside of just its own archetype, but the activate main makes it a lot better. Pay 2. If your leader card is a black machine mutant, play this card from your drop area. So you get a 2-drop 10k blocker that still mills you 2 if it's in your drop area. So again, you want to mill it. Is the blocker that relevant? I don't know. I think I'd rather just play negates because they are less expensive, and the negates can get you back 1-drops that you can combo with or play to draw. So I don't know if this is necessarily the best card in the deck, but if the mill is really relevant, then maybe it is needed. Frieza Ghost Warrior, 4-drop, play this for free the typical way. Activate main, place this card in its owner's drop area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest modes. This is what I was talking about with the hand size thing. So none of these Ghost Warriors really replace themselves. They do help you deal with your opponent's board to a degree, but even this Frieza does not, deal with a card on its own like the Slug does, which we'll read in a little bit. But basically, you play it for free, it goes away. So that's kind of the problem I see with this deck, is keeping up a hand size, but we'll see if that does tend to be a problem when the format develops itself. I haven't really tested Hatchhyack too much. I've been on a little bit of like a ultra competitive break since Nationals. I've been just messing around with fun decks. So as soon as this does drop in the next 2 weeks, I am going to be pretty much building everything and just trying it all out. Cooler, Ghost Warrior, 4-drop, activate main, play it the free way. Activate battle, place this card in your drop area, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. This is pretty neat, although I think a lot of the stuff your opponent's going to be playing against you is going to be more than 10k because they're going to be trying to go aggressive against you because you are a control strategy. They don't really want to go into the long game against you, I wouldn't imagine, but it is cool. You can do this on your opponent's turn. It's basically a 10k combo defensively if you think about it that way. So that is pretty neat. Lord Slug Ghost Warrior, 4-drop, play it for free. Activate main, place this card in your drop area, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than or equal to your opponent's energy and send it to the owner's warp. So this basically punishes cheating things into play. And man, those green Broly players, those green Broly Star deck players keep getting their deck destroyed. Like, everything just hates on all these big boss monsters, and that's really what the deck does. So that's kind of unfortunate. Turles Ghost Warrior, plays for free with the normal way. Activate main, place this card in your owner's drop area, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's drop area, and send it to their warp. This is a really, really cool card. This is a very cool side deck card in my opinion, because not every deck in the format relies on things in the drop area, especially since Shenron is probably going to dip in popularity. But the fact that this does hit things in the drop area, again, for free with no energy investment, this is a very cool card for this deck. Probably going to be in the sideboard for different Shenron variants. Ghost Warrior, just your typical untapping floodgate. It is cool that Black got one of these, and it's actually really weird that Black got one of these, because now this doesn't care what color your leader is or anything like that. So this could have theoretically just went into any of the decks, and they could have saved several slots of cards for each color and just made it just the black one. But for whatever reason, they wanted every color to have one of these. So pretty weird there. Defender God Gargan, or God Garden, okay, however you say that. 2-drop super combo. This card's really cool looking. I think it's pretty dope just because it kind of looks like a weird little mini Gundam. That's pretty sick. Defender Kawazu, 3-drop 5k permanent. If your leader card is a black machine mutant, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So he is a 1-drop blocker if your leader is a machine mutant. Activate main, burst 1, place this card in your drop area, draw 1. That's another weird one. I mean, I guess it fills up your drop area for your Ghost Warrior effects, but I feel like there are just better ways to do that. This card does not seem like it's very, very relevant in the deck, in my opinion at least. Death Strong Gas, activate battle. If the card is a Hatchhyack card, it gets plus 10,000 power for duration of the battle. Then choose all of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and place them in the owner's drop area. This card is nuts depending on the format. If a lot of 1-drop attackers are very relevant, like Sankaba, like the new SS3 Goku, that's basically Sankaba. This card is nuts. 1 for the 10k combo, 2 because it kills things mid-battle. So if your opponent's trying to go all in on a Sankaba, they can't really ever do that safely because of this card. But this card's also nuts because of Black Mass Saiyan, because Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan really hates on your deck because all your dudes play for free via activate main, which is not a keyword skill. So you do kind of need this card. But also I think Hatchhyack could very easily play Crisis Crusher Goku, so that could also be a solution to that doesn't require you to play clunky extra cards. So that's just my opinion on that. Both cards are very good in their own situations. You know, Crisis Crusher, more that floodgate type of effect, so I would imagine Crisis Crusher is the card you want in that slot instead of this, but this card is still pretty good. The Dark Planet. This card's insane. So it's a field auto. When you play this card in a battle area, choose up to 1 Ghost Warrior in your deck, add it to your hand, then shuffle. If your leader card's a Black Machine Mutant card, at the end of the turn, place 2 cards from the top of your deck in your drop area. My opinion, immediate 4 of. It is an extra card. It can clunk. I know the typical number of Planet Vegeta is like, you know, 2 or 0, but this card searches any Ghost Warrior in your deck at any time you need it, and it gets your mill engine going. I really can't see this thing being played at less than 3. It just seems that insane to me. So this card gets an A+ in my book. Ultimate Blow. This card, I'm so happy this is a generic card. It's so cool with things like Deadly Defenders or awe-inspiring Vegito. So counterplay, choose up to 1 of your battle cards. It gets plus 10,000 power and revenge for the duration of the turn. So a few things here. The fact that it's counterplay, your opponent can just like stop their turn whenever they want if they don't want to play into this. But the fact that it's counterplay means that revenge works like it's actually intended to work, because originally with King Vegeta's surprise attack, you would attack the battle card, they would play that in the combo step, or sorry, the defense step, and revenge would go onto the battle card, but revenge only triggers initially when it's attacked, so that instance would pretty much be dead. You would get the 10k power boost, but you wouldn't get the revenge that King Vegeta's surprise attack was trying to give the battle card, because it only triggers when it's attacked. So this card being counterplay gives your opponent a way to just stop swinging, but this card, very, very cool for what it does. I like it a lot. Super Kamehameha. This card, again, we've been talking about these counterplays. This card is absolutely nuts. Counterplay, if your leader card's black and your lights at 4 or less, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less, which is pretty much all the counterplays in the format, it is sent to the owner's warp instead of being played. Permanent, if you have only black cards in your energy and your lights at 4 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding a card from your lights to your hand instead of paying its energy cost. So keep in mind, the black energy only thing doesn't apply to actually using the card. It only applies to using it by taking a life and not paying energy. So if you're playing some form of like skillless and you do have like, you know, red, blue, whatever color energy, you can still use this. You just can't use it for free, right? So that's something important to keep in mind. And besides that, I do want to talk about the black SCR if I can find it pretty quickly, which I think should be relatively easy. And I guess we can talk about the black hero, the black heroic and villainous card as well. Heroic Strike, permanent. This card gains heroic in all areas. Activate battle. Choose up to 1 of your leader cards. It gets plus 10,000 power for duration of the battle. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards under cost of 2 or less and KO it. So this card, really, really cool. I'm kind of thinking of different ways you can make heroic decks work better, because they are all different colors. It does seem pretty difficult to jam them all into a deck, but this card being a black generic splashable card, and if you have a heroic guy on the board, this is essentially a pseudo combo that pops a guy. This card has a lot of upside. The next one, though, not so much. Permanent, this card gains Villainous in all areas. Activate battle if your opponent has a skillless battle card in play, which I believe they did rule that tokens count for this. Choose any number of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less, for which the total cost adds up to 4 or less, and sends them to the owner's warp. So this is a good counter card against something like skillless, like the Kid Goku deck, but I do think this works against token decks like Android 21, so just keep that in mind. I do think that works. But unless I'm missing it, guys, the SCR is not in this list, but I can just talk about it off the top of my head. Let's see if we get it here from a quick search. Bottom of this page. No, we don't seem to have it. I don't know exactly where those are, but that's okay. The black SCR is the Black Energy Dragon Balls. It's a 7-drop. It reduces the cost of itself by 1 for each battle card in your drop area, and it says activate battle. You choose all battle cards on the board ignoring barrier. At the end of the turn, they go to the drop area ignoring barrier. They don't get KO'd, which is important as well. That card, in my opinion, automatic include in Hatchhyack, because there's no better SCR you can play. I think that secret rare is going to basically be that. It's going to be the secret rare you play if you don't have a better one to play. But it's really good. I mean, an end of turn board wipe alleviates a ton of pressure. A lot of decks can get, 6 battle cards in the drop area relatively easy by the mid game, which is like turn 3, 4, 5, depending on the matchup. I think it's a really good card. But overall, guys, that's my opinion on the Dr. Lai Chi Hatchhyack stuff. Pretty insane how floodgatey it is, but I don't think it's unbeatable by any means. I do think it'll struggle a bit with hand size, but that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.